What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first ever BSing Sports Bets, part of the BSing Sports Network. I'm your host, Jacob Krogan here. You can find me at jkrogan5. Here with me are my co-host, Ivan, Tim, and on the screen is Christian Gutierrez. I know most of these guys through the military. I met Ivan through Minot State. And today we are here to talk about sports betting and what we love about it so much. I have gambled with all these guys before. We talk about betting constantly. So if y'all want to talk about yourselves for a minute, Christian, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll go first. My name is Christian. I'm the resident Texan in the group, so be expecting all of the Cowboy Astro hate coming my way. I accept it. I enjoy it. I love it. I guess, like Jake said, I met him in the Air Force. We were roommates. Pretty sure that might be my old room that they're in, actually. I'm out. I'm now out. I live in San Antonio, Texas, back again, and yeah, I'm just kind of doing my thing, sports betting every day, just being degenerate with these guys, and it's been a blast.
Heck yeah.
Thank you, Jordan. Hey, let's take a moment to thank Jordan for saying God bless Texas, because
God bless Texas. Yeah, me and Christian go way back. We joined the military around the same time. We have a lot of war stories, most of them not suitable for YouTube, so we're going to not talk about that. But we gambled all the time, went to a lot of casinos, played a lot of blackjack together, and we love talking sports and talking shit. Tim, you want to give a little bit about your background?
I'm Tim, Jake's best friend. I used to live in this room as well. And I'm from Alabama, so massive Alabama football fan, basketball fan. Mostly for NFL, I'd say I'm a Titans fan first. But I root for most Alabama players, so Tua, I'm a big Tua fan. Still a Bryce believer. And believe it or not, I'm still a Mac believer. I think Mac Jones still has something in the tank. He just needs a better coach. Bill Belichick's old and needs to find a new home.
That's a hot take. And then last but not least, Ivan.
What's up? I'm Ivan. I was born in Cali and raised in Florida. Played sports all my life. Played college football at Minot State. I'm a big Lakers fan, Raiders fan, and USC football Trojans fan. So big LA guy here.
Oh, man. Thank you, the True Six King, for Tua.
That's right.
We all know the Dolphins are for the girlies. So with that, we're going to do a bunch of different sections. So how we're going to get started is we're going to start with our fantasy football lineups. We are going to talk all the players that we like and that we have going into this week. Clearly, we don't go through a specific brand just because we're not sponsored by any of them. So we'll talk about that. Then next on the lineup, we have our 3-team parlays that we want to talk about. And after that, we have our locks of the week. And then we're going to go through the NFL slate for Sunday and talk about each player prop or just the game in general that we like to talk about.
Jake, for the first BSing Sports podcast, gambling podcast, I'm going to put my nuts on the table and guarantee that the 3-team parlay will hit week 1. I guarantee.
That one of us will hit a 3-team parlay? All of us collectively.
The team's parlay will hit.
Okay.
For the first ever BSing.
You heard it here first from Tim. Follow our bets. They're all going to hit, apparently.
That's a fucking guarantee.
No. If you got children watching, we apologize. But honestly, they shouldn't be learning about betting that young anyways. But so we're going to go through the beginnings. And I'll start with mine. And so basically how this works is you have, your standard fantasy football lineups. You get a quarterback, you get 2 running backs, you get 3 receivers, a tight end, and a flex play, along with a defense and special teams. So you go around, you start out with like $50,000, and each player gets a specific money value, and you have to build a team around that. So you build your team, and then you compete against everybody else. We're going to be competing against each other. We're going to keep track of our scores. And at the next week, the loser is going to have to do something silly to come up with an idea for that. And we'll get back to you next week on it.
I think whoever comes in last should have to join a $100 DraftKings lineup.
$100 DraftKings lineup.
Yes, I think that's
that is a lot of money to just be
that's
spending.
A fair punishment. If you have the worst DraftKings lineup, you should be forced
put
some money on the table for the.
Maybe if we get sponsored by this one day, we can do that. But I don't think any of us have the money to bankroll 100 right now.
That's the whole point of being a degenerate. You gamble what you don't have.
We are degenerates. That is for sure. So starting out, my quarterback of the week is Josh Allen. You can get him for $8,100, which is pretty pricey. He's one of the top quarterbacks, but for a fantasy output, he's going to get you those points. I have
the Eagles
against the Eagles. Yes, and the Eagles secondary is sketchy to say the least. And my two running backs are Jalen Warren and Rashad White. Both go for $5,400 and $6,100 respectfully. That's modest price. I think Jalen Warren is the fantasy workhorse behind the Steelers running back core. So I think he has the most output to get you the most points. Rashad White has just been putting points up nonstop. It just happens constantly. Everybody hated him in the beginning of the year, and he's just proven everybody wrong. Sorry. Oh, man. They are blowing this up.
You guys do hockey.
Jordan said, thoughts on Gabe Davis. So, Gabe Davis is hit and miss. Gabe Davis will give you
Boom or bust.
Yeah.
30 points. Gabe Davis can give you 0 points, which he's done twice this year. Y'all have anything to say about that, Gabe Davis?
Yeah, I was actually going to go into Gabe Davis a little bit. I have him in my lineup, mainly because he was – how much was he? 5,300, so it's kind of a little budget receiver for me. And in my notes here, I put, to be honest, hopefully he hits a home run goal ball, maybe two, maybe a third and 19 late game. He catches it, and you're talking about 3 points right there. So
yeah, that's
Gabe
all
Davis.
you
Like I
can
said,
do.
everyone knows Gabe Davis nowadays. It's hit or miss, go ball or die.
Oh, man.
I think it's a good game for Gabe Davis because the Eagles can score points. The Bills have to keep up. The Bills are going to sling the ball around. And Gabe Davis might not be the most reliant receiver, but he's someone that Josh Allen likes to go to, especially on the deep ball. If Gabe Davis catches maybe, I think his total for this week is like 2.5 receptions, but if Gabe Davis could catch one pass for 60 yards and a touchdown, and you're happy if you started him in fantasy football.
Yeah. He honestly hasn't had that many big weeks this year, so I think he's due for a boom. So might be worth a start in your DFS. I know Gucci just said he did start him, and we'll get to that later. Jordan is blowing this up. For those that don't know, Jordan Roden is Timothy Montgomery's wife.
She's an internet troll.
And she loves fantasy football just like the rest of us degenerates. And she said, Jalen Reed this week, she said, do you guys do hockey? I know not a lot of us are hockey, like,
I do a couple hockey.
we don't know enough about hockey. One of these days we will get Ryan and Bill, and they're big hockey lovers, and they'll come on here and talk more about hockey. But we're all football guys and basketball guys. So for right now, that's what we're going to talk about. But more importantly, I like this idea. What do y'all think of this? Loser has to enlist in the army.
Yikes!
Like that sounds like a good idea. Like,
worst idea.
can anybody do that here? Gucci, I know you just got out. I think you should go back in and join the green.
You know, gambling and as a whole degenerate is lifestyle. It's dumb, but it's not army dumb. All right, so that's a little bit beneath my floors.
Fair enough. Let's get back into our lineups. So with my receivers, I have Stephon Diggs, 8,800. That's very expensive.
Stacked with Josh Allen, right?
Stacked with Josh Allen. I love this specifically because Stephon Diggs hasn't had big weeks the past couple of weeks. He's been mad he hasn't got the ball. But like I said, the Eagles secondary, they are suspect. And so I think Diggs is going to have a big week this week with Josh Allen's. So I think that is a great stack to have. My next is Deontay Johnson. He goes for 4,900, which is very low. It's below the average.
Cheaper than Gabe Davis.
Cheaper than Gabe Davis. And he is the wide receiver one on the Steelers. They fired Matt Canada, so I think he's going to put up more points this week. I think he'll get more catches. That offense hopefully will do something against the Bengals, who have Jake Browning going, and so I don't think they're going to put up much of a fight offensively.
That's going to be a boring game.
No, it's going to not be the best. And then my last receiver is Jonathan Mingo. I know this is bad. He's out of nowhere. He's for 3,300. That's basically you're getting him for free in fantasy lineups. But he gets 6, 7, 8 targets a game.
They're playing the Titans,
They
right?
play the Titans. So I think Bryce Young is actually going to sling the ball. I think I have him as I love his over for passing yards is like 202. I think it is
I like
great.
that too.
Yep. And then tight end, of course, my boy Trey McBride. I love him to death. He looks great. He looked great with Dobbs. He looked great with Kyler Murray. And he's going to continue to just be a tight end one every week until the end of the season, in my eyes. And then my flex play is Jerome Ford for 55 or 5,600. And he's going to run all over the Denver Broncos. For those that don't know, I'm an avid Denver Broncos fan. I love them to death. Their run defense is very suspect. The Dolphins ran all over them. The Bills, if they had any common sense, they totally could have won that game if they just used the run game more. So I think Jerome Ford has a big game. And then I have the Chiefs defense. Of course, Chiefs have a good defense, but more importantly, they play the Raiders. And as we all know, fuck the Raiders. Do not like the Raiders. But it should be a good game. But I don't think with O'Connell that they put up the points and the Chiefs defense gets an interception or two and puts up the points you need. But that is my fantasy football lineup. If you like what you heard, sign up, do it, and let me know what you did in the comments.
Don't take that lineup. I have the winning lineup.
Oh, since you have the winning lineup, talk about your winning lineup.
Okay, I'll go next. So highest scoring game of the week, in my opinion, is the Houston and then Jacksonville game. So I'm going to put as many of those people in my lineup as possible. And whenever I do tournament DFS, I kind of have a strategy where I'll do the quarterback for a team, and then I'll try to double stack it with, say, either a wide receiver or running back, and then I'll play back another player from the other opposing team. So for this week, for example, I have CJ Stroud as my quarterback. And then wide receiver one, I'm going with Nico Collins. I think CJ Stroud's going to sling the ball around. They're going to have to sling the ball around. Yes. Two, I'd say, middle of the field defenses this week, but both these teams can score a lot of points. So I believe CJ Stroud's going to be having to sling the ball just to keep up with Jacksonville. So I got Nico tagged with Tank Dell. I think both these players, they could easily both put up 23, 25 points alone. And if you're lucky, maybe one puts up 35 and the other one only gets you 20. I think that's a great spot to be in with CJ Stroud stacked. And then coming back against the Jags is my wide receiver 3. I got Christian Kirk. It's kind of been a weird year with the Jags. You don't really know who's going to get the ball. I remember week 1, everyone thought that Calvin Ridley was back, like he was going to be the old Calvin Ridley of the Atlanta Falcons. He showed signs of that all season, but there's also Christian Kirk on the other side who is just as capable as Calvin Ridley and can take the receptions away from Calvin Ridley. I think this is Christian Kirk's week. Then going for running backs, along with Jake, I have Jerome Ford. He's the workhorse. He's going to get the ball. It's going to be a low score and run the ball game. I think Jerome Ford is a fantasy football winning quarterback this week.
Okay.
I got Joe Mixon going up against the Pittsburgh defense. Pittsburgh is a middle-of-the-field run defense, but also along with the Jerome Ford game, I think it's going to be a very slow run-the-football game. So I want that running back. I believe that he'll get the goal line touches. He has every chance to score touchdowns this week. Tight end, I had David Njoku, who is, to me, one of the most underrated. He is my boy. He's one of the most underrated tight ends in the league. If they would throw David Njoku the ball, this team could score, I guarantee you, 10 more points a game. David Njoku is a weapon that they just refuse to use. And it seems like this year, every week, they've been adding more and more David Njoku, and they're learning this guy is a beast. Throw him the ball. Then I have Tutu Atwell filling in my flex because I believe that the Cardinals and Rams game is going to be a little more high scoring as well. And Matt Stafford, as much as people hate on him, Hall of Fame quarterback, he's going to throw balls. Tutu Atwell's the deep ball threat. He's going to catch a touchdown. And then just like Jake, I had the Chiefs as well. Chiefs defense is elite going against the Raiders. Dog shit.
I do love it. For those of you that are liking, if you haven't liked this video and subscribed to the BSing Sports Network, please do. We appreciate it. We're trying to grow this brand, and we want to grow it as much as possible to give you the best content that we can. So, Christian, I know you got a lineup that you think's going to win.
Yes, I do. There's actually a lot of similar players between mine and Jake's and Tim's. Little different players here and there. I might shock you. So for my QB, I got CJ Stroud. This man's playing MVP level the last 3-4 weeks. Rookie, but they're playing against a little shaky Jags D without their Tyson Campbell corner. Noah Brown is out. So it kind of goes into one of my players down the line. AFC South title game.
Title game, he says.
AFC South title game?
Probably is. It probably is.
Oh,
They're only a
Honestly,
game
it is.
apart. The Jags got them by a game, so I feel like whoever wins this game is winning this.
So the winner of
Very,
this game
very-
is leading the division?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Big
made-
game on the line.
Big game. So,
Nobody
there's
had the Texans to win that division before the year
oh,
started.
no.
Nobody.
Nobody in Texas had the Texans winning this
No.
division. So, and then also a little research. Houston's won 10 of the last 11 meetings. So,
Against the
surprising.
Jags? That's
Yeah.
nuts.
it's kind of nuts. Yeah, it threw me off. I
Texans
think they
have
won
it
like
all.
21 out of the last 28. So,
Oh, man.
they've kind of got their numbers. One of those things where Jags may have been the better team overall in the last couple of years, but hey, Houston's got their numbers. So be on the lookout for
Okay.
CJ Stroud to have a really big game. My running back one, shout out to Tim, is going to be a Bama boy, Derrick Henry.
Hey.
What else can you say other than he's him? You know, they're going against an abysmal Carolina D. I mean, you saw what my Cowboys did to them last week. So there's just there's no bright spots on that Carolina D. Look for plenty of red zone opportunities with him. Of course, he's lost a step or two, but you know he's still got a good chance to break out for a couple 15, 20-yard plus runs, end zone threat, all the time. So RB2 is going to be Bijan. So Bijan would be RB1 in the league if they would just give him the damn ball.
You think they're going to give him the ball this week?
I think they are.
That's a lot of faith in Arthur Smith.
It's a lot of faith. Yes. Here's the thing, though. Desmond Ritter's back. Everyone in the world knows Desmond Ritter cannot throw a freaking football to save his life.
Nope.
So I'm banking on them just, hey, Bijan, get on the phantom cam and do your thing. You're talking about the little overhead, the Bijan cams, would like to call it, because that man, he gets the ball in the outside zone and he's gone. And he makes people look silly. So
Gotcha.
I'm a big Bijan guy too. He went to UT, so down the street from where I grew up. So I love seeing Bijan. So going back to Gabe Davis, like I said, I kind of touched on him earlier. We have all kind of touched on him a little bit. Gabe Davis. Hopefully he shows out his pretty good route running. That Eagles secondary is kind of hurting. They haven't really been the best all year. So I'm hoping that they would double team Stephon, and Josh Allen just breaks down and comes down to Gabe Davis a lot. So maybe a goal ball or two for late field goal position, late touchdown, hopefully. So that's kind of what I'm thinking with Gabe Davis. All right,
Thank you, Jordan, with the Go Texas Rangers.
We're not Rangers
bandwagon.
fans, though. All right, that's too far north. So with the mention of Noah Brown being out, Noah Brown, ex-Cowboy, of course. Tank Dell is my wide receiver one.
I like it.
Tank Dell. I know Jake's a huge Tank Dell guy, so I see him on Twitter all the time talking about it. Tank Dell's playing like wide receiver one the last 2-3 weeks. He had 2 out of the last 3 games where he had over $150, a couple touchdowns. So hopefully they can ring that in, keep this win streak going with them, because I really do like the Texans feel good story. Just the CJ.
Do you think the Texans are going to win the division?
No.
You think the Jags will win the division?
I think the Jags got it just solely based off experience. But
yeah,
after this year, man, it's going to be Houston coming up. It's no one's going to be able to compete with them. The thing that Jake was talking about earlier, the Jags, they don't know who the heck they are. They have so many weapons that fantasy managers hate the Jags because it's who's getting the freaking ball this week and who's going to score, who's not going to show up. They've had 3-4 games this year where nobody's shown up. So
that's why I stay away from them in my lineups.
Yep. That's why I kind of pick players that face off against them. So Tank Dell's my guy. Wide receiver 2, I ran out of money here out of my whole 50-gram salary cap, but I went with Kadarius Toney.
Oh,
Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney.
Named the sexiest player in their lineup.
Is that a real thing, or did you just decide that?
No.
It was a comment.
Jordan just asked everyone name the sexiest person in your lineup.
Oh, I thought he was saying Kadarius Toney was the sexiest person in his lineup.
Yes.
I'm not really a grill guy, but I mean,
Yeah, Gucci's vote is Kadarius Toney. That's the
Yeah.
sexiest person in
we'll
his
go with
lineup.
it. But yeah, going on Kadarius Toney, punt return, Super Bowl. We all kind of sealed that off for
He
them
did
last
look good
year.
last week.
It looked really good again after an abysmal week 1, and that was forever ago. But he kind of got memed out of social media. But he's made his way back. Travis Kelce hasn't had a good couple weeks without Taylor Swift being there. So look at Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, even too, if you want even a more budget one.
Somebody has to catch the ball in Kansas City.
Someone's got to get it, right? And if it
Gotta
ain't
be
Kadarius
somebody.
Toney, it's gonna be my next player, and that's gonna be Isaiah Pacheco as my flex.
That's your flex. Okay.
I love Isaiah Pacheco. That man can run through a bulldozer. He's not a bulldozer; he runs through the bulldozer.
Okay.
I don't know if you've kept up with the memes on him, but he's running through everybody. His legs just keep him going after contact. I think he's up there in yards after contact in the league. I'm not too sure.
without a doubt. Yeah, he runs angry.
So I love that. I love that in a fantasy player because all it takes is 1 or 2 broken tackles and he's gone. So and he's a great check down merchant for Mahomes. So I love Isaiah Pacheco on my flex. My tight end, I've been here and there on him ever since he was with the New York Football Giants. Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram has had kind of butterfingers for a little bit, but he's been with the Jags. What was this? Is this his second year? What is it?
Second year with the Jags, I believe.
Right. So he's kind of been T-Law's safety net a little bit.
He has been. He actually gets a lot of targets.
He gets a lot of targets, and not a lot of yards. But hey, when you're going for a budget $4,200 tight end, I'll take receptions or a ton of yards. He's kind of in a red zone 3. He's a big guy, so I like him down in the red zone a lot. So I think he's a pretty good. I'm running out of money. Let me pick up a quick $4,200 Evan Ingram. And who do I got? My D. All right. So my notes on my D is I ran out of money entirely. The only one I can afford is the Saints. And the only redeeming factor of the Saints D is that they're playing the Falcons. So that's kind of going against my Bijan, my whole spiel I had earlier. So just keep it nice and boring for me, all right? And we'll be all right.
Saints defense can always score a touchdown.
Yeah.
And if your DraftKings or DFS team scores a touchdown defense, that's all you can ask.
That is true.
No.
So
Nikki Niles here says, I think Miami's going to the Super Bowl. Yes or no? So I guess that's a question. Tim, what do you think?
Absolutely. I'm a firm believer in the Miami Dolphins.
Tim, it's for the girlies.
I believe in Tua and I believe in Mike McDaniel. That team, if anyone can go to the Super Bowl from the AFC, I believe the Dolphins are right up there with them.
Okay. Christian, do you think that?
Is Miami going to the Super Bowl? Where's the Super Bowl at? Miami?
No, it's in Vegas.
Then they're not going. Only way they're going to the Super Bowl is if it's in Miami.
What do you think, Ivan?
I love the team, but it's just not happening this year.
Yeah, I don't think Dolphins are making it out the second round, dude.
Second round.
Dude, he thinks they're going to the second round. I think they lose in a wild card to a good wild card team.
They win the AFC and they leave with the number 1 seed.
Well, we all got different things. Who's ready to put money where their mouth's at? That's the question of the day. That's what this podcast is all about.
I don't think the Dolphins will lose another football game the rest of the season.
That's a hot take.
I don't think they will.
Okay, Ivan.
So I'm really new to this. I put this together last minute, and I don't usually do like fantasy lineups. I'm more of a player prop guy, but I know I'm over the salary cap, so this is not very realistic. But if this was something that was true, my QB1 this week would be Jalen Hurts. Sounds wild, but that game that was atrocious last week was just terrible conditions for both teams, and I get a little skeptical about the Buffalo Bills secondary. A lot of them battle so much injury, and just knowing what I've come from, I've personally played safety. Jordan Poyer's, I like him a lot, but he's just battling too many injuries right now. That whole defense just, I don't know. I mean, they're both coming off sloppy games, so it could be head or toes here, but I think Jalen Hurts gets it going this week. For RB1, I'll have to agree on the Derrick Henry against Carolina.
Yes, sir.
That man's just a machine, bro. When he gets hot, and against the Carolina team would be perfect. He's been a little quiet the past few weeks, so definitely agree on that one. And RB2, I hate putting this here, but I'm also very realistic. I like Isaiah Pacheco this week against my Raiders. Just saying this because the Raiders are ranking like high 20s right now in the NFL in run defense. So Pacheco's probably going to give us some work this week. And like you said, after contact, man, he's a bowling ball. So this one for my wide receiver 1, I don't like Kansas City secondary. I like their front 7, but Devontae Adams, man, they're going to have a real problem this week in Vegas. And it gets really chippy with them out there. And I think Devontae's going to go for at least like high 90s and a tub this week. So it's crazy, but
We both have the Chiefs defense.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen. That's a bad look for all of us.
yeah. I mean, you can hold him for 1 touchdown and the Chiefs go crazy. But anyways, wide receiver 2, I'm going with Gabe Davis. And I know you guys have been talking about this a lot. Fun fact, he played high school football in Orlando. I played high school football in Orlando.
Hey,
We know a lot of people. So against the Philly defense, they're probably going to put a lot of brackets on Diggs this week. And Diggs is probably going to have a hard time. But like we're talking about Stephon Diggs, I'm sure he'll get some going. But Gabe is also good for his receptions. And once he gets one big catch, man, he'll cover his receiving yards in at least like a couple seconds. And he's always open down the middle. His slant game is really good. So I like him at wide receiver 2. Wide receiver 3, Cooper Kupp against Arizona's defense. The only thing that makes me a little worried is just him being healthy. I know he's kind of been on a weird thing the past few weeks, but I don't really trust in Arizona's defense. So Cooper Kupp could really go crazy. For my tight end, being realistic here, like you guys said, somebody has to catch in Kansas City in the Raiders game. So I'm going with Travis. Who knows if Taylor's going to be there, but it's Vegas.
You want Taylor to be there?
I don't even care. But Travis, I mean, he's been on a weird little cold streak lately, but it's Vegas, so everybody likes to show out there. But yeah, that's my tight end for this week. My flex, I like Jamar Chase against Pittsburgh. Last week they played the Ravens, right?
Who did?
The Bengals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thursday night last week.
Yeah, Bengals had him in a freaking clamp box. The Ravens had him in a clamp box. I mean, the Ravens secondary is really good, so I don't think Pittsburgh's gonna really do
Pittsburgh
much.
can't.
Yeah.
No.
So I got Jamar Chase in my flex, and then for defense, this is crazy, but I got the Chiefs as well.
Defense is elite.
Yeah, I mean, the Raiders have had their struggles, man. A young QB still figuring things out. I mean, I could be totally wrong. He probably snaps, but whatever. I'll keep the Chiefs defense. We have a lot of troubles in the passing game sometimes, but I mean, Devontae's always open somewhere. So
True.
yeah, that's all I got for this
It's
week.
just can you get them the ball?
Man.
So that is our fantasy football draft lineups for this week. We will get back to y'all next week on Friday with all of that, and we'll let you know who did what, who's in first, second, or third.
First, I'm in first.
And whoever gets last place, like we said, we're going to come up with something silly that they got to do on live stream. So up next, we have our 3-team parlays. Christian, do you want to take it away with who you got for your 3-team?
Yeah, I'll start it off. So my 3-team, I started off with Texans money line. It's going to be a close game. I really love the Texans. Like I said, going back to they won 10 out of the last 11 against the Jags. I'm a CJ believer, so I think they can keep this win streak alive and beat the Jags on this one. The second one's kind of going to throw Jake off for a surprise because I absolutely do not like this team. But I got the Broncos -2. The Broncos are playing a pretty good brand of I almost said basketball. I've been watching basketball all day. Pretty good brand of football lately. They kind of figure out who they are. Russ is finally not Russ. So I really like the Broncos -2, and then to cap it all off, I like the Patriots -3.5 against the New York Football Giants. Tommy
Doesn't it
DeVito's
kind of
gonna
feel like with the Broncos being only 1.5? Is it 1.5 point favorites?
-2 now.
-2 at
Yeah.
home against is DTR the quarterback?
Yeah.
Doesn't that feel
I
like
think
a
it's just
trap?
the D line of Cleveland's gonna probably give him some trouble for a little bit, but just you
That
got to go
feels-
with the better team overall.
It feels like the Broncos have to cover that game.
Yeah,
Oh, man, that's a lot of faith. I'm a Broncos fan, and I'm scared of that game.
Yeah, the fact that it feels so easy makes me want to
Yeah.
take the other side.
it's scary, but I mean, I've been watching the Broncos game. They've been in prime time lately. Was it last week? They were on prime time. Maybe the
As a
week
Broncos
before.
fan, if you were to handicap that game, what would you make the spread?
If I were-
Broncos at home versus the Browns. It's 1.5 now, too. 1.5 -2.
I would make it an even game. It can go
You
either
go
way.
even?
Yeah, I would go even. So
I'd go Broncos minus like 4.5.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm playing it up to 3.5.
Yeah.
I really like the 3, playing it up to 3, just because I can see this game being ugly, and I can see a late game field goal winning this thing. So I'm taking the -2 on the Broncos, and the Pats Giants is going to be a snooze fest.
a snooze fest.
Snooze fest. The Giants, I've been watching them all year. You know, they're my division, so I can confidently say they are terrible. They should not be allowed on a football field. They should not be allowed to share a field with the Jets, and that's something in itself. So I'm taking. I don't know who it's going to be. Bailey Zappi, Mac Jones. I'm taking them over anybody on the Giants.
Tommy DeVito.
Anybody.
So you're taking them. Let me hear you. And didn't Tommy DeVito get his first career win last week against the
Against who?
Commanders?
As an underdog, they covered by 1 million.
Interesting. That is a bold take. But Tim's already said it. All of these 3 legs are going to hit. So bet them all. Like, we can't go wrong here.
No, I was saying we have to put together our own. Like each of us gives our own best pick.
Oh, yeah. No, we're doing that later.
Part,
Yeah, we're
that's
doing
the
that.
parlay that I
Okay,
promised.
that's the parlay he says going to hit. Got it.
All of our 4 best picks in a parlay is going to hit this week.
So after this 3-teamer, we're going to give our locks of the week. And we're going to put all those together and make a parlay team
And it'll
for
hit.
a 4-teamer. So that is going to hit. Tim's already guaranteed it.
Guarantee.
We're going to make him feel real stupid next week if it doesn't. But it's going to hit. So what's the matter?
Who's next? You going next?
Yeah, I can go next. So I have the Saints money line here. Tim's trying to bully me into taking the -2. Honestly, you should, but I don't know how this game's going to go. The Saints are suspect, and Atlanta, we've already talked about it. We don't know what they're going to do. So it could go either way, but I think the Saints are going to win this ultimately, and I have no problem taking the Saints money line. It might be a field goal to win it, so I can see them winning by 1 point. I know Ryan and Bill, they hate the 1 to 2 point spreads. They say just take the points. But I did have a few where I took them not to cover, and it actually hit. So
This is the first time all year they've played. Looks
Yeah.
like they've played 3 times already.
Wow.
And then I got the Bills and Eagles over. I know on the podcast I'm doing tomorrow with Bill and Ryan, the over is 48.5. Even if it's there, I see this game being a 31-28 ball game. I think it's going to be lights out, no defense. So to me, that is a no-brainer for the over. And then, like Tim said earlier, with the Texans and Jags game, I have the over on that as well. This game's going to be a barn burner. Two good offenses with defenses that are mediocre. So give me the over in that. And that's
Good
my
pick.
3-team. I got the Saints money line, the Eagles over, and the Jags over. I'm taking that one to the bank. No ifs, ands, or buts. Ivan, I know you got a player props instead of team, so let's hear it.
So for my 3 player props this week, obviously I already put Isaiah Pacheco in my fantasy lineup, mock fantasy lineup, but yeah, his line's at 66.5 right now, and I mean, I don't think that's anything too bad to put a bet on, so I'm taking that over this week. For the New Orleans and Atlanta game, I feel like it's going to be a little sloppy. It'll be a close one. It's always some weird things going on with Atlanta and New Orleans, but
For sure.
I'm taking Young Ho Koo, his 1.5 field goals made.
I love that. I like that pick.
There's a lot of drama going on in Atlanta, so the QB room is struggling right now, and the coaching staff. I don't know what's going on, but I think Young Hoku saves the day somehow. But yeah, that's my second one. And then, of course, I'm going to always bet on Devontae Adams. For some reason, they have him a little bit lower than last week. They had him around like 75.5 last week. Now they have him at 62.5. I think it's just because we're playing the Chiefs and like, oh, God, things could go wrong. But it's a home game. Devontae's been getting a lot more feed lately since McDaniel's been gone. So that 62.5 line is a little bit too low for me. So I'm going to take that over.
I like it. For those that don't know, Ivan hits these player props like they're going out of style. So listen to it all the time. Like we all are in a group chat together, and this man be cashing his player props constantly. So without a doubt, listen to him.
All right. My 3-team parlay this week. Starting it off, I'm going with the Titans, 3.5-point favorites against the Panthers. The difference is Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel does not lose to shitty football teams. Pardon my language. He doesn't lose to shitty football teams. I'll say it again. 3.5 points for the Tennessee Titans, who look like an abysmal, terrible football team, is nothing compared to what the Carolina Panthers are. The Carolina Panthers are the worst team in football. Do not disrespect the Titans this severely. They will cover 3.5 points against the Carolina Panthers. That is a promise. There's no way that game is close to it. It'll be like if I had to put a score on that game, 24-10. 24-10 Tennessee, and it's going to be miserable. No one's going to watch it. I don't blame
you. Got you there. Who you got next?
Giants. I have Giants covering 3.5 points against the Patriots. I think, was it you that had the Patriots?
It's me.
Gucci had the Patriots. I don't know why. I feel like it's a trap line. I think that the Patriots being a 3.5-point favorite against anyone is just not fair, even though it is Tommy DeVito on the other side. The Giants will cover the number, and they'll make you money this week.
We got some conflict. One of these guys are going to get some bragging rights
I don't
next
know.
week.
Tommy DeVito sucks, but Bill Belichick, did you see the video of him like leaving some dorm or not dorm, but it was like
the walk of shame.
I don't think that was him.
Bill Belichick's checked out.
He's
done with the Patriots.
Bill Belichick, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT coaching. He's my Greg Popovich of the NFL. Right. Let's get that clear. Tom Brady or not, this man
I just feel like
not
he's over
lose to the New York Football Giants. They will beat them by at least.
He doesn't have to lose. He just has to cover, or the Giants just have to cover that 3.5 number.
Tommy DeVito's going to go home, and he can't even read a defense. His mom can read him a bedtime story. He is not covering that 3.5-point spread.
I don't know. I whenever I saw the number and I saw 3.5 and Tommy DeVito was a favorite, I just thought I have to take it. Something about it, I just have to take it. All right, my third leg is the Rams Cardinals over 44.5. I think Matt Ryan is a very underrated quarterback, Hall of Fame quarterback.
Matt Ryan? Matthew Stafford? You said Matt Ryan.
Oh, Matthew Stafford. I think Matthew Stafford is a very underrated quarterback. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. I think Kyler Murray's back. That team can put up 23 points easily, and the Rams will get theirs. That game's going over the number of 44.5.
I like it. I like it a lot. So those are our 3-teamers. Like I said, we are degenerate gamblers. We like to make our bets, and we put our money where our mouth is. So we will get back to you next week on those and see how we did. We're going to keep score just like that. So loser's going to have to do something stupid with that. The next thing we're going to talk about is our lock of the week. So I know most of us are just going to kind of talk about this weekend because football is the big thing we want to talk about right now. And so with that, I'm going to give Gucci. Go ahead.
We're doing like our absolute lock, like lock of the day type of thing, or the lock for each game?
The lock of the week.
Lock of the week.
Like, this is just anything for the next week, but we're all pretty much going to do Sunday.
It can be a player prop, right?
Player prop, anything.
Okay. Well, my lock of the week is the Bills plus 3.5. This game is going to be an absolute dogfight. Phillies, we've harped about it a little bit. Philly secondary is not the best. I hate the Philly Eagles. So the only thing is I have this game going 21-24 Philly. Philly can close out games, and the Bills have shown us they cannot close out games this year. So I expect this to be 21-24, very late game scenario. It's going to come down to the wire. So it's going to be an exciting game. I think it's going to be game of the week. It's going to have the most viewers. That's my lock of the week. 3.5 Bills. Book it.
Okay. I like it because I'll take my next. My lock of the week is the Bills-Eagles over. And like I said earlier, I got like a 31-28 ball game. So that is 3 points right there. So that goes perfectly with your 3.5 points. So give me that. They're going to score a bunch of points. Like we said, both defenses, kind of secondary is wishy-washy on if they're going to score points. So give me the over on that, no matter what. Which one of you two
Go
gentlemen?
first.
Ivan.
Of course, back to my player props, like I always do. So the Chargers play the Baltimore Ravens this weekend.
That might be game of the week.
Sunday night game, prime time. Joe Mixon cooked up some receiving yards at running back last week, and Baltimore allows a lot of receiving yards to running backs this whole season so far. So I like Austin Eckler's over at 30.5 receiving yards. If Justin Herbert doesn't get it going, like with a deep game with Keenan on those DBs, I see a lot of check downs and slip screens coming to Austin Eckler. So that's my lock of the week.
I like it. I like it.
My lock of the week is the Chiefs versus the Raiders under. There's no way in hell this game goes over the number. The Chiefs offense has been abysmal as of late. Nobody can catch a football. Travis Kelce's too busy spending time in Argentina hanging out with Taylor Swizzle. The Raiders don't have a quarterback. Their best player is Devontae Adams, and as much as he's trying to keep this team together, it is slowly going to fall apart as the year goes on. The Raiders season is over. The Chiefs do not care to play this game. They're going to win the game 13-3. That is my lock.
Okay. So those are our locks. And so together, I'm just going to reiterate this. We're going to put it into a 4-team, and we're going to put our money where our mouth is. Tim's already guaranteed that this is going to hit. I got the Bills and Eagles game over. Tim's got the Chiefs and Las Vegas game under. Ivan's got Austin Eckler, 30.5 receiving yards over, right?
Mm-hmm.
The over. And then Gucci's got the Bills plus 3.5. So that is our 4-teamer of the week. And I'm pretty excited about it. Makes it even more fun to watch. The next segment we are going to do, and we're going to try and speed run this one. We are going to go through the Sunday slate of games. So we have about, 10, 11 games left?
I think it's 10 games.
Yeah,
10
it's like
games
10.
left. And we're just going to give our player prop or just the game that we like as far as points and all that. We're just going to run through them. And if you like them, bet them. And let us know if you do. Like, put your slips in the comments on YouTube or follow us on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it these days. And let us know that you made money or that you had a bad beat or something. We loved it. We will communicate with you, and we'll just keep talking to you the entire time. So for the first game, we got the Steelers and the Bengals.
Should we just do like Steelers, Bengals, and everyone gives a pick? Or
Yeah.
I like that.
Yes, Steelers, Bengals, and we're all just going to talk about it. So my first one is Chris Boswell, 1.5 field goals made. I think it goes over. I think the Steelers are going to get the ball down there, but they don't know how to score. The Bengals defense isn't good, but it's not bad. So they're going to kick field goals, I think. 2, easy. That's your cash. We're just going to go in order. Tim, then Ivan, then Christian.
Steelers, Bengals, I have Jamar Chase over 5.5 receptions. Jamar Chase will always get his, so that's my reasoning for that.
I like it.
5.5 seems a little low.
Ivan?
So, like you said, Jamar Chase is my pick for that game. I'll probably run his fantasy whenever they put up his prop, but I don't care what the fantasy line is. I'm going to run that over.
There's got to be a max. What's the
Yeah.
max? 22?
He's probably going to be at like 21 or something.
Yeah. If it's like 19.5, I'll definitely grab it. But I think he'll get in the end zone at least 2 times against Pittsburgh. So that's mine for that game.
For mine, it's maybe a little controversial, but I'm going Joe Mixon under 66.5 rushing yards.
Ooh, under.
Their O-line is terrible. That's why Joey B's not there no more. He had 69 yards last week, but prior to that, he didn't go over, 50 yards in 3 weeks. So it's set at 66.5. I don't think he's going to get it. That's kind of where I'm going with that.
Okay, I like it. The next game we got is the Jags and Texans. I like the Trevor Lawrence completions of 23.5. I got the over for that. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. They're going to throw the ball a lot. I don't think there's no way he doesn't complete more than – I mean, he's complete 23.
Should.
I mean, what did Boyle just get? He got 20?
27.
27, yeah. Boyle for the Jets just got 27 completions. Trevor Lawrence, better quarterback, better team. It's going to happen. That's mine.
Right there, going along with Jake. I think it's a high-scoring game. Nico Collins grew up at the high school right next door to me, so I'm a big fan of Nico Collins. 4.5 receptions over.
For that game, I'm going to go with CJ Stroud. They have his prop at 5.5 rushing yards. If things get wild, man, like we already expect it's going to be a high-scoring game. I don't think that's too much to say for CJ Stroud just to run for at least the first down for that drive. So
say 5.5?
5.5 rushing yards, yeah.
The more that we all agree on a take, I feel like I should just change everything.
Yeah, right?
Sound too good.
Game's going under.
That's what I was thinking about our fantasy lineups. I was just like, oh, man, we all are thinking the same thing. So either we're all going to make money or we are all going to lose.
Mm-hmm. For my Texans game, I'm going the old Cowboy tight end, Dalton Schultz, over 4 receptions. Tight ends, decent tight ends are safety nets for young quarterbacks in this league. He's getting more and more looks as the weeks go by with the Texans as they're winning games. So I love that over 4. That's 4 first downs on 3rd and 5. So I love that number.
I like that pick. Next game is the Buccaneers versus the Colts. Mine is Rachaad White, 84.5 receiving and rushing yards. I have the over for that. He is their bell cow. He is their offense. They run screens to him. He gets the ball constantly. And if not, Baker Mayfield's throwing it deep to Mike Evans. So give me the over on that. I think it's pretty easy to hit.
All right, mine is so you notice Jake, whenever he said Baker Mayfield is throwing it deep, he said he's throwing it deep to Mike Evans. So my total is Chris Godwin under 5.5 receptions. Mike Evans is the number 1 guy. Chris Godwin is just somebody in the background at this point in the Buccaneers season. The Buccaneers suck. They may win the division, but who gives a shit? Nobody knows who's going to win that division. That division is awful. I'm going Chris Godwin under 5.5 receptions. If it was up to me, I'd put the number at 3. I think he'll catch 3 balls.
Okay.
So for that game, I'm going to take Gardner Minshew's interception. He's listed at 0.5 right now. I absolutely love Tampa Bay's front 7. They're some mean dogs, and I think they're going to get a lot of pressure on that Colts offense. So that's the prop I like.
I like it.
Vita Vey.
Man,
he's still in the Bucks. Vita Vey, still in the Buccaneers.
I think he went somewhere else.
I think he might have went to the Eagles.
I just know Devin White, man.
Yeah, he's nasty.
Crazy.
I got a nice Devin White card.
I was talking to Tim about the Jets and Dolphins game, and I was like, Tua's throwing a pick. Like, you could get the over under an interception for Tua. I was like, that's an easy over, and then he threw 2 like back to back.
Yeah.
But Christian, who you got?
For mine, I'm gonna agree with Ivan. Yeah, I had the over a 0.5 hints for Minshew Mania. That man is a pick throwing machine. Every game, no matter who the heck it is, he's gonna be off maybe about 5-10 yards, and it's going the other way. This is a no-brainer for me.
Oh yeah. Next game is the Saints and Falcons. We all love that one so much. As y'all know, I got Saints money line, so that one's easy for me.
I'm going Kamara anytime TD. At some point, the Saints will be at the goal line, and Alvin Kamara will run one up the gut for a 1-yard touchdown.
And for me, I got, of course, Young Hoku, 1.5 field goals made. I feel like the offense for Atlanta's going to have a sloppy game, so that's my lock.
I love that.
And for me, I'm doubling down on my Bijan take from earlier, and we're going to go over – what's that number sitting at now? 54.5 rushing yards. Ritter sucks, man. There's Ritter sucks. He's gonna get more touches than ever, and he's just a monster, man.
What happened to Taylor Heineke? Why is he not starting?
I don't know, man.
They want to go back to Ritter.
Yeah, Ritter's healthy, so maybe they're going all in on Ritter for this year.
At least with Heineke, there's a chance you can score points. With Ritter at the helm, you're not
scoring anything.
Capped at 20 points.
Yeah.
Next game, Patriots at Giants. Man, snooze fest this is gonna be. I got Hunter Henry, 27.5 receiving yards over. He gets the ball. He is their leading receiver. That's who you want. DeMario Douglas is good. He's coming back. But give me Hunter Henry, Bailey Zappi, Mac Jones. Doesn't matter. Those quarterbacks love to throw their tight ends in that offense.
My lock for this game, it kind of contradicts the 3-team parlay I threw in, but it doesn't have to make sense. It just has to win. It's Tommy DeVito under 178 passing yards.
Okay.
So for that game, I got Saquon Barkley's 96.5 rushing plus receiving yards. They said you took under on Tommy DeVito, so I think, like always, Saquon's there to be versatile in that offense, and against New England, who's struggling a little bit this season. I don't think that's a bad take. So
Yeah, he's going to get
that's
the
my
ball
lock.
30 times.
Yeah.
I like that.
For this
Christian?
game, I got the under for the game, 34.5. I got this game going 17-13 in the most boringest game you've ever witnessed. So
Nobody's watching this game.
No.
Yes, sir.
Red Zone's not watching this game.
Oh man, that's so bad. We got the Panthers and Titans, another game that most people probably won't watch. I got Bryce Young, 202 yards passing. I have the over on that. I think he's going to pass around. I think the Titans don't have a good enough defense to stop it. And Adam Thielen gets like 70 yards right there, so he just needs to find a way to throw 130 more yards.
That Adam Thielen has become a wide receiver 1 again.
Again, yeah.
Going to the worst team in football.
All right.
My pick for this game is DeAndre Hopkins over 57.5 receiving yards. Panthers defense is terrible. The Titans are trying to figure out what they have with Will Levis. They're going to let him throw the ball around a little bit, and his number 1 guy is obviously DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay.
So for that game, I got Adam Thielen, 14.5 fantasy score. I think he'll probably shred it up on offense. So yeah, I played this prop many times this year, and he's only went under for me one time.
I was about to say, it's probably paying off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he'll get in the end zone, so that'll probably cover that fantasy easy.
I like it. Christian.
So for this one, I also have the under as well. 36.5 is what it's sitting at. I got this game going 21-13, and Derrick Henry getting all 3 touchdowns from my fantasy team.
Hell yeah. Tractor Cedo season,
That's
son.
about the road for me. Yeah, there's nothing to this game. It's gonna be boring as heck. So next.
No, next, easy. We got the Rams at the Cardinals. This is easy for me. Kyler Murray, 35.5 rushing yards. He's done it every week he's come back. What's to stop him again? That's my thought process. Short, simple, to the point.
Over Matt Stafford, 238.5 passing yards. They're putting too much disrespect on Matt Stafford's name. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Hall of Fame quarterback, 2 elite wide receivers. He's going to throw for 280 yards.
Yeah, so with that, I'm going to have to absolutely agree. I already took Cooper Kupp in that fantasy lineup, so Matt Stafford's definitely due for a game. This is a perfect game to shine, so I'll take his 235.5 passing yards on this line.
There you go.
I like it.
You got
Me,
3 numbers lower than me.
I got Kyler Murray over 1.5 pass rush and receiving touchdowns. This just seems like free money, guys. I don't know if I'm a victim of a trap, but this just seems like free money.
What is it? 1.5? Or
Yeah,
1.5 receiving, passing, and rushing touchdowns.
He's going to catch 2.
That's what I'm saying. At a minimum. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, he's gonna throw for 1 at least. I'm expecting he's gonna throw for 2 from the 12-yard line, and he's gonna scramble, angry toddler run that one in for the third one. So that's what I got for that.
Little midget man.
Okay, next I got the Chiefs and the Raiders. This one's simple to me. Aiden O'Connell, interception. 0.5, taking the over. He's throwing one against Chiefs defense. Easy.
I think I said earlier that this game was going to be 13-3, or I said very low scoring. So I have Mahomes under 2.5 passing TDs. That's a very high number. I know he's Patrick Mahomes, but this game is going to be a fucking snooze fest. Under 2.5 passing TDs from Mahomes. That's stealing money.
So for that game, I don't want to be too biased on Devontae, but there's a rushing and receiving touchdown combo. It's with Devontae Adams and Rashee Rice. I think I already had Kelsey in my tight end fantasy mock. So Rashee Rice is a younger guy, and I think he can definitely get it going. So I can see both of them getting in the end zone this week.
There's a 0.5?
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice bet. I like that.
Yeah.
For this
Go
one,
ahead, Gooch.
I like Mahomes under 266.5 passing yards. It's still a divisional game. Let's not forget that. Mad Max Crosby is not going to let him have enough time to bazooka arm that throw a goal ball to anybody. So I like 266. I mean, I'm realistically I'm expecting 220, 225 out of Mahomes. Lately he hasn't been surpassing 225. So I really like him staying under 220, 265 for the game.
The Chiefs just aren't as deadly as they've ever been. You know,
No,
like
they have no receivers.
Can I have like an alternate prop?
What's your alt prop?
So just like you said, on that Netflix documentary, like Crosby and Mahomes like have this weird like beef on the side, but they're low key bros. But I like Max Crosby's sack line, whatever it's at. They'll probably have it like 0.25 or
I think it's 0.5.
Yeah, that man has been marking that game on his calendar since that freaking Netflix documentary
He'll
came out.
get one.
So that's an alternate prop, but that's not my main one. So I like that.
I like it. Bills Eagles up next. I know we like this game a lot. So to me, Diggs 73.5 receiving yards. Give me the over on that. I think he has a big game. I think he puts up like 20 fantasy points minimum. Big day for Diggs.
I like Gabe Davis under 2.5 receptions.
Ooh, Jordan's gonna be mad about that one.
I think Jordan gave this pick to me. Gabe Davis under 2.5 receptions.
She said she sat him in all her leagues, so that makes sense.
Yikes.
Right.
So for that game, I'll take Gabe Davis receiving yards over. They don't have the lineup yet.
Contradicting each other.
I mean, I don't hate the receptions under, but
I'll take
just
this one
reception. He'll cover like at least 20, 30 yards on his
right.
plant. So whatever his receiving yards are at, I'll take that over.
I mean, he can still have 2 catches for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He'll drop at least one.
Yeah, probably.
What you got, Gucci?
For me, I like the over on this game, over 48.5. I got this game going 27-24. Doubling back to what I said earlier, this is going to come down to a last-second field goal. The tush push is undefeated, so it's going to be unfortunate for me to watch because I hate the Eagles. But it's going to be 27-24, over 48.5.
Gucci, real quick, what's 27 plus 24?
51.
17.
17.
It's over 48.5.
I was just testing your little Houston Astro knowledge there.
Browns and Broncos. Like I said, putting my money where my mouth is. Jerome Ford, 49.5 rushing yards, over. Easy. They're going to give him the ball so much. And the running back or the run defense for Denver is just atrocious. They need to figure it out. I was really hoping they picked up the Colts linebacker that just got dropped, but I don't think anybody's picked him up yet.
I heard he cleared waivers.
He did. Leonard, got to figure out what's going on with that. But who you got?
I'm going David Njoku over 39.5 receiving yards. I love David Njoku. Give the man the football.
So for that Denver game, I'm going to take Cortland Sutton's receiving yards over at 45.5.
That's a good one.
Sutton's low-key a sleeper. I like the way he runs his routes, and I don't think a lot of Browns defenders can really hold that man. So that's my prop for that game.
I like it. I like that one a lot.
I'm going to go Amari Cooper over, 43.5 receiving yards. I mean, he's Amari Cooper, damn it. Like, this guy, what was that one week where him, CD, and Noah Brown all led the week in receiving yards?
Oh, yeah, all the Cowboys.
All the Cowboys? Like, I mean, I only know that because I'm a Cowboys fan, and, like, I know all these Cowboys. But I'm not betting on this as a Cowboys fan. I'm betting on this as an Amari Cooper fan. That guy can get you at least 60 to 60.
I like him. I don't like him against Surtain, though. So Surtain's a lockdown. Then we got the Ravens and Chargers. This one, for me, is easy. The Chargers can move the ball. They just can't seem to score a lot. So give me Dicker, the kicker. 1.5 field goals made. Give me the over.
That's good. I like Dicker.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm going Gus Edwards anytime TD. The Ravens, I'm not a Lamar Jackson fan, but I'm a Ravens fan. The Ravens can move the ball. I believe, you know how people say anyone could be quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers?
Yeah.
I believe anyone could be quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens. I almost said Orioles. The Baltimore Ravens. I think they'll get to the goal line. Gus Edwards will probably score at least 2 touchdowns, but they're setting his line at 0.5.
I like it.
Again, I'm like hammering Austin Eckler and everything. So I like his pass rushing and receiving touchdown prop at 0.5. I played this numerous times this year, and this man scores like nobody's business, especially in the red zone. If they get a deep ball, they're always going to throw a toss to him or a halfback dive up the middle. So I like Eckler for that one.
He's a fantasy cheat code.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then Gucci.
I like the over 48.5 on this game as well. I know I'm just hammering overs, right? But it's not fun
I
unless you
love
do.
it, Gucci.
But the Chargers are sitting at 4-6 right now. They're desperate. They're hungry. They expected a better season than what they're sitting at right now. I expect Herbie to just start lasering them out there. And the Ravens, we know you can get at least 28 points from them every week. So I like the over easily on that one.
Gotcha. And the last game of the week that we're going to talk about is the Bears and the Vikings. Give me Cole Kmet receiving yards. Joey, if you're listening, you're stupid. Cole Kmet is a top 10 tight end in the NFL. He gets his receiving yards. So give me the over on that.
I'll take Josh Dobbs under 228.5 passing yards. Josh Dobbs is an amazing QB. Okay, maybe not amazing. I was a Josh Dobbs advocate, and I play poker with a lot of people here in North Dakota that are Minnesota fans, and they're all bummed out about having Josh Dobbs come over. And I told them from the get-go, Josh Dobbs is a great QB. But when I said great QB, I didn't mean 228.5 passing yards against the Chicago Bears. The Bears statistically have a terrible defense, but if you look at like their past 5 games, the Bears have become a very well-rounded defense. I'll take the under on Josh Dobbs.
I like it.
But Vikings win the game.
So for that game, I'm pretty sure Justin Jefferson's still out, right?
Yeah, he's up.
Okay,
Yeah.
so big USC guy here, man. I got to go with my guy, Jordan Addison's receiving yards at 46.5. Bears defense is very skeptical, I guess, but Addison has covered this 4 out of the last 5 games, so I'm going to go with that one.
And Gucci.
For this one, I got the Vikings -3.5. The Bears suck. The Pastronaut will not win by less than 4 points.
The Pastronaut.
The Pastronaut. 3rd straight season sweep. Vikings have owned the Bears the last 3 seasons. So if they win this one, it's a 3rd straight season sweep. I got my money on that. So I really, really like that one.
Okay, I got you. And that concludes everything. I will like to say, y'all, if you are gambling, gamble responsibly, please. Bet your money. Don't go into debt on this. It is something that happens to a lot of people, sadly. We are degenerates, but we do like to keep our money. So thank you for listening to BSing Sports Bets, part of the BSing Network, where we do a little BS and talk a whole lot of sports. We'll see y'all.
Adios.